Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. Let me start off with it. We're basically talking about the releases from WWE. It is sad, but it is always an easy talking point to bring these up whenever they happened. It was a major one today. I don't know if it was because of the whole TKO merger, or if it was just the right time of the year. But it is what it is. A lot of people got released today. Rick Boogs, which was kind of like a mystery to me, because when this guy was running around with Nakamura, people were treating him like he was going to be the next big star that they had major plans for. He got injured, and I don't think he ever really made it back after the injury. Riddick Moss and Emma was one of the people who rolled out the whole Elimination Chamber being announced to be going to Australia, her native country. She put it out there that was a dream for her to be there, and she got released like an hour later. Horrible timing. It'll probably be the best for her. She's been out of this company before. I'm sure it was a nice payday, but she's going to know what she can do. She can go wrestle at AEW. She could go and wrestle just basically independents out there. With her, being engaged, they can go out as a team. And if they do it right, could be major names out there. Maybe they could even just go to Impact. And, she was there before. And, just knock it dead. She's a good wrestler. She knows what she's doing. She's gonna, be great out there. Ali's a damn good wrestler. I'll tell you the truth. He never really was my guy. He never really clicked with me. Felt bad for him that he had the Elimination Chamber spot, got injured, was released by Kofi Kingston, and then Kofi got that big spot where he ended up going to WrestleMania, and won the championship, and he was not even really supposed to be in that spot, and it just grew, and just you got to run with the title because of it. But to me, honestly, I think it's the right time. I can honestly say that WWE never really used him to his full potential. In my mind, I think that he had the look, he had the drive. He won the championship, but because of injury, he lost it. He was stripped of it due to a concussion, and why they never went back to him after that, I'll never know. He was, a major mid-card guy for a long time. United States Championships runs, Intercontinental title runs, tag team title runs with probably more guys than I can remember. Dolph Ziggler was released today, and this is a little inside baseball. Probably more than 10 years ago, releases were being announced, and my good buddy Miguel, freaking 88, put a tweet out basically saying these people are getting released, and Mike Knox gets to keep his job, and he was released like an hour later. Today, when I was thinking about Ali getting released, and I was just like, man, and Dolph Ziggler, who, if he's been on TV, I haven't seen him. I've seen him on BTE twice in, let's say, the last month. And I haven't even seen him on Raw or SmackDown. I haven't, heard about him in any news out there. It seems like he's pushing comedy more than he is wrestling these days. I put it out there basically being like, I guess Ziggler's got a job for life at this point if people are getting released, and he's not one of them. Not being like, this guy needs to get released, he sucks, he ain't got it. Just, what are they doing with this guy? I mean, he had that awesome NXT run, about a year ago, and even, after that, next to nothing. I would guess if his role in WWE right now, he would have a tag team with Bobby Roode. That's another guy. What has that guy done in a while? It was like they brought him in knowing that they had to put the exclamation mark on him sooner. He was older than they like to sign people, much like the thought about was with AJ Styles when they brought him in. Why would we sign him? Because, we're not going to be able to use him that long. And he's been there forever, putting on the same amount of great matches that he was then. It's not like these guys are humbled over and anything like that. But Ziggler, one hell of a career. I can remember the first few times seeing him in WWE, not really knowing anything about him from developmental or anything like that. He was walking around, shaking people's hands, introducing himself to people. And then right away, I remember the first spot that blew my mind. The first match I saw with him was, I'm pretty sure it was against Batista on a SmackDown. And he did that deal where he stuck his hand out for Batista to shake it to introduce himself. And when Batista came over to shake his hand, Ziggler kicked him right in the head. And I was like, I don't know what's going on here, but that was freaking awesome. From there, we saw him wrestle Kofi Kingston. We saw him wrestle The Miz, 1,000 times. Probably the highlight of his career was around WrestleMania 29. That would be the summer before he won the Money in the Bank, of course. He would highlight, Monday Night Raw as well as main event the TLC pay-per-view that year with John Cena. They did the whole thing where him and AJ were running around. I still don't understand why they had Big E there. It always seemed like Big E was hitting AJ as much as Dolph was. Like, was Dolph paying him to be there? I never understood what put Big E into that group. They did the whole thing where it rained poop on them. It is what it is. The match at TLC was fucking awesome. If I was going to watch a Ziggler match to be like, this was Dolph Ziggler, it was that. Or it was like the Edge match at the Royal Rumble, the World Heavyweight Championship match. I think that was 2011. I think that was in Atlanta, if I remember right. Those are probably the two best, like, Dolph Ziggler, tap. These are fucking awesome matches in my mind. But, I did the Dolph Ziggler thing with Doritos here in Sacramento. That was freaking awesome. I got to meet him one time at WrestleMania the next year. He didn't really remember me, but he thought it was cool that I had that picture and I had got it signed by everybody that was in that group, which is funny now because everybody that was in that video is no longer in WWE, which makes me feel really fucking old. But that's nuts. But from here, most people are having him just go straight to AEW, wrestle with his brother, maybe bring that group up by bringing like a main event guy into it, which I don't think really helps that group. I mean, that group is kind of like an enhancement group that's supposed to be funny, that because of the skits on BET, I think it gets attention. I don't think they really want that team, winning matches, but we'll have to see what goes from here. I think if Matt Cardona gets a hold of him from being good friends, he seems like a guy that if you follow the podcast doesn't really care about merch or anything like that, but the guy could make a killing right now if he just does straight independence, selling t-shirts, selling gimmicks, this, that, and the other. Wherever he goes from here, maybe he goes full-fledged into comedy. Maybe he can make it. He's young enough that that's something he could do. He's really going to have to hit the road. He can sell tickets that first, second, third year because of his name and who he is in wrestling. Wrestling fans would want to see him. We've followed the likes of Colt Cabana, Roddy Piper, Mick Foley, Jake the Snake Roberts, trying their best and going out and doing these road shows. Maybe he's got enough stories that he can make a wrestling show that people would want to see. But I tip my hat to him. A lot of times in these release videos, you're like, I don't know how he worked there so long, this, that, or the other. I'm not going to say that this guy's a bona fide, main eventer that's going to go into the Hall of Fame. But if I had to bet money, I would say Ziggler's a Hall of Famer. He worked there for a long time. He was relevant for a long time. And those are the people that you remember from the mid-card that are like, you know, they might not have had the best stuff going on. And, but if I turned on the TV, I knew I was going to get a good fucking match out of him, and that's the reason why you watch SmackDown. If he had a match on a pay-per-view, it didn't matter if it was first, second, third, or last. It was probably going to be match of the night. And, I'll say it, because that's what most people, put him towards. He was like Mr. Perfect, man. Like, damn good career. Probably didn't win more matches than he was in, but they're the ones that you remember, man. Ziggler, the man.